Hi, you're welcome again to M&F Traders. You're welcome. If this is your first time watching us, please do leave us a subscription. Subscribe below, like the video if you like the content, okay? You're welcome. Please, we do this 2 to 3 times a week. Try to share ideas on how we can become a better traders. Alright, so if it's your first time today watching or listening to me like this, please, it will help us if you can subscribe, hit the subscription button, and please like the video. Alright, so today we're going to be looking at one of the most simple but yet very effective forex trading strategies. Okay, please pay attention. If you don't understand, please you can always play it back and listen carefully and try and master this. Do it on your own at your own time. Try and demonstrate it. You find it to be a very effective yet very simple strategy. Okay, what am I talking about? I'm sure you've already seen from the title. So today we're going to be looking at the trendline strategy. What is it? How is it traded? And what is it that you should know before you start trading it? Okay, so this is a very simple strategy that is very effective if you understand how it works and be able to apply the exact rules that make it function the way it's supposed to be. All right, so without wasting much of your time, let's jump into our chart. Okay, so today I'm going to be doing this analysis on one of these pairs. Okay, I'm going to be looking at Australian dollar versus New Zealand dollar. So let's go. So the first thing is you want to find a trend market. You want to find the market that is in a trend, in a nice either down or uptrend. Okay, and you want to be able to draw a trend line, and just from the name itself, you can probably deduce something. It's a trend line strategy. Therefore, it's a it's a strategy that that only works in a trend market. Okay, so you don't want to try to use this strategy in a market that is in a range. You won't find trading opportunities. Okay, so you find a trend market. After finding a trend market, and you try and draw that particular trend line following that particular trend. Okay, the idea is that each time the market comes to the trend line, you look for buying opportunities. Of course, before that, you need to have at least 1 or 2 touches. Okay, you need to have 2 touches at least before you can draw any trend line. And then you try and look for buying or selling opportunities as price comes to that trend line for the third time and the fourth time. If this market is trendy, you find that this market is most likely going to be respecting this trend line for a long time. Okay, so let's jump into the chart and let's see what I'm talking about. Okay, so you want to find a trend market, and of course you have to go to on a higher time frame so that you can be able to see what is happening. So when you look at this chart, you can clearly see that since 2013, 2011, actually this market has been in a downtrend. Okay, so this is the kind of the environment that you need. You need a trendy market. Okay, so let's try to zoom in a little bit so that we're able to get the clear picture of what is happening in this chart. Okay, so from here, the market was kind of in a downtrend, as you can see from here. The market was in downtrend, and then for some time, it's been making the kind of lower lows and lower highs, but they're kind of in a descending uh, pattern, but kind of again looks like it's in a consolidation. What am I talking about? So let me try and apply my trend line. So remember, the first thing is you want to draw your trend line on your chart. You need to make sure that you draw the trend lines the right way so that you avoid taking false signals. Okay, so get our trend line to here. So from here, I'm looking at this. So let me draw my trend line from here. Okay, I can draw it like this. Alright, to where price is currently at, somewhere here. Okay, so remember the rule about drawing trend lines. You want to have as many touches as possible. There's a disclaimer, I'm going to be using past data, so it might not work out exactly like it is working out in this particular one, but it's something worth trying. So please give it a try to demonstrate it, and even for a week or two, and then tell me what you think about it. Okay, it's not my strategy. This is something that I learned as well, and it's just sort of sharing. Okay, I know some people, most likely people you've heard about it, but others probably have not taken time to really try it out. Okay, so please do try it out and get a feel for yourself and tell us what you think. Okay, so you can see that I have this beautiful trend line here. I have one touch there, second touch here, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth touch. Okay, this market is in a trend market, and what are you able to see as this price keeps coming to this trend line? What are you able to notice? You can see that price keeps respecting this trend line, and this price is in a downtrend. So this is a kind of a market that you want to find yourself in. You want to find a trendy market such that you're able to, when you find a trending market, it will be easier for you to apply these trend lines, and you can find trading opportunities in such an environment, unlike trying to trade uh, a range bound market. Okay, so here we've got our first touch here. Okay, our first touch is there. So it's an argument. Others say you should draw the trend lines on the wicks. Others say on the bodies. Okay. So I don't know whatever you follow. Make sure it as long as it works for you, then it's fine. Okay. So you want to find. For me, I look at least. It doesn't matter whether it touches the bodies or the wicks, as long as it's touching my trend line. It's okay. So here I had my face touch. Remember the first rule is one and second touch. So I had my first touch here and my second touch here. All right. So I have two touches here. I was looking at this market right now, so I was going to look for trading opportunities on the next candle that will touch on the next time when price comes to that particular area. I'll be looking for. In this particular case, I'm going to be looking for trading opportunities. Remember, I'm looking at this chart on the weekly time frame, so it might look a little bit smaller because I've not really zoomed in nicely. So let's go try to go to the daily chart. Let's see what is happening on the daily chart. Okay, so let's go. Just a minute. Yes, we're on the daily chart now. Let's try to zoom out a little bit so to get a bigger picture. It's what is happening on the daily. If the market is still respecting this. Let's see. Let's see. Is it still respecting this trend line? Just a minute. Yeah, we can see clearly that the market keeps respecting, except for these few kind of we can call them maybe rejection or fake outs, as price tried to break that trend line, but each time it tried to do that, price kept going back down. So this is what you want. You want the market that is trendy. You want the market that is in a strong either uptrend or downtrend. Okay, and whenever price tries to come to this particular area, you want to look for buying or selling opportunities. In this particular case, we're going to be looking for selling opportunities, right? Yep. So let's look at this. Let's look at this. So we had our first touch there, and we're expecting a second touch and the third touch if we're going to take this trade. So you draw in your trend line like this. The first touch was here. Let me represent this with something. Let me see something. Let me see. Let me get this one. Okay, great. So we had our first touch here, right? Let me change the color. Let me change the color to something brighter. Let me change it to red since we are selling, right? So we had our first touch there. And remember, with this one, you want to have the second touch for you to start looking for trading opportunities on the third touch. So you have this touch here, and you also you were expecting another touch, and you did have it. So you had the touch here. What did price do after having this particular touch? It went down. Okay, this is what you want to see. You want to see a series of happenings repeating itself. Okay, so when you see this, you'll be like, okay, I'm going to wait for another touch. The tricky part is sometimes the market won't necessarily touch your trend line. It might just come closer to it and bounce back. So you have to be watchful. You need to be awake and see what is happening. Otherwise, sometimes you may end up losing some trades. Okay, so sometimes you have to be a little bit aggressive and take trades which are showing a possibility of reversal even before reaching the trend line. So you have to be alert. All right. So this is our first touch and our second touch, and we're looking for a third touch. Then we will go in for a sell, and always have a target. Okay, you can have a target in your mind. For example, like this is a downtrend. You should have you can kind of have a target, but in a downtrend, it's better to trade the stop loss. Okay, when you trade a stop loss, you find that you're able to catch bigger moves and like trying to limit yourself. But in this case, you can say that having a target would have helped pretty much. So here, I was going to be watchful of this area here because market seemed to like this area here. Therefore, I could be selling, and each time price came to this area, I could be taking the profit before it comes here because I know that price has been respecting this area here. Okay, so you have to have this in mind. There are always turning points of the market, and you need to be aware of those lines. Okay, you need to be aware of support and resistance, horizontal support and resistance, and opposing trend lines. Okay, so we had our first touch there and our second touch here. Okay, so whenever you're trading this one, you have to be aware that sometimes price can break out of this trend line by a few pips. It can be 5 to 10 pips out of this. Sometimes it can go up to 20 pips up out of this trend line. So therefore, your stop loss should not be less than 20 pips above this trend line. So if I were you, I'm going to be aiming at least maybe 30 to 40 pips away from this trend line. When you give your trade such room to breathe, they're able to go a little bit further because sometimes we were taken out of the charts or out of the market prematurely because we placed our stop loss too close to that particular area. So always give room for your trades to breathe. Give them room for them to breathe a little bit. Give them some pips so that they're able to breathe. All right. So where would you have taken another trade? So there was a beautiful trade here. So look, if we were following this particular strategy strictly and only trying to sell whenever price came here. So whenever price is approaching this area, what are you going to be looking for? Remember, this is acting as resistance right now, right? It's in a downtrend and it's on top here. It's kind of acting like a resistance, all right? So since this one is acting as a resistance and they're looking to sell at this resistance, therefore, as price is approaching this area, you're going to be looking for bearish reversal patterns. Bearish reversal patterns. What am I talking about? So you're going to be I'm going to be looking at some of these patterns. I'm going to be looking for these particular patterns like a hammer. Sorry, and we're going to be looking for a shooting star, a morning, an evening star. I'm going to be looking for a bearish engulfing candle, I'm going to be looking for double top kind of patterns. All right. So if you see those patterns happening on when prices is approaching this area, then you are sure that price is most likely to drop. Don't just sell when price comes here. You look for selling opportunities as price is approaching that area. I won't be looking for selling opportunities when I see price showing me buying momentum towards this area. I'm going to let it either it's going to break. If it doesn't break, there will be signs of it not breaking. Thereby, when it shows me that, then I'll be prepared to sell. Okay. So I'm going to look at this. So for example, if you had to take this trade, example, right? I was going to take the trade here on the third candle here, on the third touch. Even though the touch was, the market didn't really touch the trend line. All right. So this is what happens. The market sometimes does not do exactly what you think it would do, but it will do what it has to do. Okay. So you just need to react to what the market does. Don't kind of predict what the market does, okay, or what the market will do. Just wait for the market to do its own thing and then react. So in this case, if you took this trade, it was going to be a really nice trade. Okay, so let me get my measuring tool, my short position tool. So look at this. So if you took the trade from here, right? So you took it somewhere here, get trade somewhere here, right? And somewhere here, and you put a 30 pips. For example, you put let's say a 30 pips stop loss. Remember, I'm looking at this on the daily time frame. So let's look at this. Okay, let me look at this. Okay, let me go to my 4 hour so that you're able to see properly what is happening, so that you'll be able to appreciate more of what is happening in this particular beautiful chart. So something beautiful was happening here, and if you in this trade, if you took these trades, then congrats, man. Congratulations if you did take this trade, because there were a lot of trading opportunities here which presented themselves by use of a simple yet effective, very effective strategy, a trend line strategy. Okay, so I would encourage you to learn this strategy and try it on your own. Let's see how it works out for you, and please, you can always come back and tell us how it went for you, how you demonstrated used your new account. So before you use it on the new account, please, you have to make sure you try it in a demo. Let's see how price respects your trend line. Okay, when you draw them the right way, price will surely respect those trend lines, and you can make some good money out of this trend line strategy. It's a very effective trend line strategy. It's a very effective strategy. I'm sorry. So, for example, if you took this trade, right? Uh, of course, I'm going to be aware of this trend, this area here, because I know that this is where the opposing pressure is coming in. Okay, so for example, if let me do this. Okay, just for demonstration's sake, let me just put my stop loss above my trend line. Yeah, let me just move this a little bit here. Yeah, so in this case, what did I do? I entered the market as soon as I saw price approaching this area here. I entered in this trade I saw price coming to this particular area because I saw that price was respecting this area. I didn't just enter blindly, but I saw price respecting this trend line. Okay, so look at this. I was risking 177 pips, right? But look at how much profit, how much reward there was. That was like almost like 1,000 pips. I was risking 177 pips to make 1,000 pips. That's a very good risk to reward ratio because yeah, I'm just risking this much, about 170. Can this is something I can actually reduce, something like 122 pips to make how much? To make 977 pips. And this is a trade that would have worked perfectly if you took this trade. Price kept respecting this trend line. It came here, it respected this trend line, came down. It came down up to this area here. If you're in this trade, you'd have caught this beautiful trade. Look what happened on the next candle again, on the next chart here. Again, if you were waiting, you were using the same strategy, expecting price to respect the trend line again, you see how much you'd have made in this trade using the same stop loss and using the same take profit, probably using the recent low. You'd have got how many pips? Let's see, let's adjust it to where price reached. So in this particular trade, you reached 122 pips to make 750 pips, and this would have happened if you kept respecting the price, kept respecting this trend, and it did. Not just once, but like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, about 6 times. So price kept respecting this trend line. So this was going to work out very nicely. Price came and about 750 trade. I mean 750 pips. I mean, look at this. This is very crazy. This is like on the 13th of October, and this was yeah, this was a very good trade. Okay, this is a very beautiful trade. It have got some really good pips there. It happened again. Look at this. Price came here, respected the trend line as usual, as expected, and price dropped to 9, that's like 935 pips. A 935 pip drop, maintaining the same stop loss above the trend line, and making sure, keeping in mind that price is respecting this particular support. All right, we are aware that price will keep respecting this support, and therefore we'll take our profits before price reaches that particular support. Okay, so this would have worked very nicely. See, look at this. Another trade, another beautiful trading opportunity here. If you were using this particular system, this particular strategy, very simple but yet very effective. This is, look at this. Look at this. How many pips is this? This is 935 pips using the same stop loss. You have taken how many trades? 1, 2, 3, 4 trades, and all these trades were having over 700 pips. This is how simple but yet effective this trading strategy is. So I encourage you to learn this strategy, learn how it works. It's very simple. You find a trending market. Once you find the trending market, draw your trend line. It should at least have two touches, two points where market is touching the trend line. When you have that, then then you are going to be expecting a third touch. When that third touch happens, then you look for either buying or selling opportunities. Remember, this works in a trendy market. You can catch thousands of pips just in one trade, okay, in one particular trade. So you have to make sure that you find a trendy market and then find where you can draw a trend line and then buy or sell when price approaches that area. Put a stop loss above support, above that resistance, that line which is acting as a resistance, depending whether you're selling or buying. Okay, and that stop loss should be above that trend line, and give it some breathing space. Okay, depending on the time frame, give it some breathing space so that price can be free. Okay, because the most sad thing that can ever happen is price takes you out and goes in the direction that you thought you're going to go. That is very, very sad. All right, so please, I encourage you to learn this strategy. I don't want to go into another chat here because we've almost spent like 25 minutes. Yeah, so I would encourage you to learn this strategy and try to practice, and let me know what you think. Okay, let me know what you think about this strategy. All right, so please, if you've reached this far, I thank you. I thank you a lot, and I would appreciate if you considered subscribing, and please like the video if you find this information very valuable to you. All right, otherwise, from me, I'm out, and I wish you all the best in your trading career. All right, see you next time.